It's Auto In with your hosts, Seth Kelly, Will Moulton, and Garrett Walder. In this episode, what role does music play in broadcast? What software is used to produce music? And what are some of our hosts' favorite music? Without further ado, Auto In.
Welcome, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, squirrels, who else do we got? Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. Welcome to Auto In, Season 2, Episode 6. Today, we're going to be talking about music in broadcast, but we got a couple of things to get to first. First of all, we got to introduce ourselves. I'm Seth Kelly. I'm one of the hosts. We also have our other two hosts, and their names are...
So, before I say my name, I want to talk about your name real quick, Seth.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because before the podcast started, we were all laughing like Seth Rogen, right?
Oh, yes, we were.
And I was thinking about Seth Rogen as you were starting that intro segment.
Oh, okay.
And then you said Seth, and there was a slight pause, and I was expecting you to say Rogen. I don't know why, but my brain just auto-filled it as Rogen, and then when you said Kelly, my brain was like, oh, what?
Welcome to Auto In with Seth Rogen.
Welcome to Auto... That wasn't off.
Seth Rogen
we were doing it so well, too. Where'd it go?
Welcome.
And I'm James Franco.
Welcome.
Welcome. My name is Seth Rogen. We also got...
James Franco here, yeah.
James Franco.
And it's me, the lizard.
Jonah Hill.
No, I was trying to be the Lizard King himself.
James Spader.
No, what's his name? The guy that yelled about frogs and the chemicals.
Oh, Alex
What?
Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones. That guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't watch this show. I don't know his name.
Oh, yeah, Alex Jones. I don't know how to do his...
It's me, Alex Jones.
either. It's me, Alex Jones.
Um,
Yeah, well, we got Garrett Walder with us.
Hello.
We got Will Moulton with us.
No.
No, Will Moulton is not with us.
Yeah, I'm
He is
here.
no longer with us. He's in a better place.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Sorry, we are here to announce the sad passing of William Moulton.
All right.
We knew him
Everybody.
well.
Everybody salute.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well,
I was pretty old.
Oh, well.
I'm currently the ghost of Will Moulton, so...
yeah, we got the ghost of Will Moulton with us. We do have a couple of announcements regarding the future of Auto In, just so that you guys can get kind of settled into what we are planning on doing in the future. So we have two announcements. Garrett, would you like to take it away with the first one?
Sure. Okay, yeah. So, as many of you have probably noticed by now, I'm not actually Garrett. I am a liaison for Garrett that he hired with his extensive network of agents that he uses to accomplish various tasks around the world.
Absolutely.
And so the reason for that is that, unfortunately, because of spatial or geographical... So you know how physics works, correct?
No.
More or less.
Explain it to me.
You cannot. Okay, well, okay. This is a bit of a debate, right, among like the metaphysics community, probably. Not that I'm a part of that, but just like
Okay.
Personally, I am skeptical of the idea of astral projection, and I would assume you would agree.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So by that logic, I can only be in one place at one time. Like I am tied to wherever
yeah.
my physical being currently is, right?
Yeah.
And going forward, that physical being will not be in close proximity to the studio.
I see.
So going forward, after the end of this season, unfortunately, I will have to be stepping down as a consistent host of Auto In.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on how the show goes on forward, I may be able to come back as guest host on occasion. Come back every now and then, but for the majority of the time, I will not be on the show, unfortunately, which is too bad. I have very much enjoyed doing this, and I would stay if it was reasonably possible for me to do so. But life happens, and I'm trying to think of a quote to use there that's very impactful and important. Maybe like Winnie the Pooh once said, "I look like I would be a dictator of China."
Did he?
And that really spoke to me.
Yeah, it did. He did.
He actually never said that. But he does look like the dictator of China.
He does look like that.
Come at
but
me.
also, hey,
Yeah, well, I gotta say, it would be a lot easier if astral projection were a thing,
Yes.
and you could, we would have literally the literal me, the ghost of Will Moulton, and the astral projection of Garrett all on auto
Sounds
in
like a
as
Dungeons and
hosts.
Dragons party, if we're being totally honest.
You know what? That's our third announcement. Is we instead of auto in, we're replacing it with just an audio drama sort of like D&D campaign hybrid. Well, we do have another announcement to bring out. Oh, nice. Oh, your cough button was on. You turned on your cough button.
I used it.
I am proud of you.
Nice.
I'm so proud of you. But yeah, another announcement that we want to make about kind of where we're moving forward on this podcast is normally, winter break, we took a little break and then we kept on going with season 2 this semester. Over summer break, next semester, and winter break, we're going to be taking a break from Auto In where we really focus on our studies. I mean, Will's going into a master's degree, right? So, and I'm going into my junior year. We're going to be focusing on our studies, but also focusing on where we want to take Auto In the future, where it's going to go. And so me and Will will deliberate on that over this break. And if all else, if all goes well, then we will renew it for a third season in 2022. We'll see. And we'll figure that out over this break. So in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this, and we hope to come back for a season 3. We'll see how it all goes. That being said, let's get into our main topic for today, and that is music in broadcast. So we'll start off kind of talking about how music is made in one way or another. We kind of have varying levels of experience with that. Will and I both took audio production and were able to, I believe, did you do the mixing, the worship song mixing project for audio production?
Do you mean for my final project?
Yeah, for the final project.
I believe I did.
Oh yeah, so we both worked on that.
I remember it was option B.
Yes.
Was that because there was like the video of them doing stuff, and then you had to mix the audio to make it sound good?
Yeah.
Get all the stems? Yes,
Yeah.
I also did that one.
Okay, we all three did that one.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have a good bit of experience mixing in Adobe Audition. Since 2015, I've been doing this less now because I have the podcast and also a number of other things like work and studies, stuff like that. But I've been making music with FL Studio, and there are a lot of other software that people use to make music. People have the industry standard, I believe, is just as Adobe is the industry standard for a lot of things. For graphic design, it's things like Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, that for photography as well. For video editing, it's Premiere. For audio, it's Audition, and Pro Tools is the one for music making and mixing and things like that. And that's what they really push here at DBU, at least, and in the industry, that's kind of the standard, is Adobe Pro Tools.
Yeah, a good friend of mine's brother uses Pro Tools, I believe, to make a bunch of music.
Yeah.
So I've actually seen it being used quite a bit. It looks really interesting. Personally, I've used Logic Pro a little bit as well.
Oh, yeah. I've heard good things.
The Apple one, which, Logic's pretty cool. From what I was told, because I don't have a lot of experience with this, the music side of audio production, but what I was told is that Logic is really good at interfacing MIDI with what is it? Is it called Timeline?
Oh, with the...
I don't think it's Timeline, because Timeline is video editing, but audio, I'm not sure if it's Timeline or not.
In FL Studio, we call it the playlist, but
okay.
I don't know if they call it that in Pro Tools.
I don't know, which that's what I was looking at doing. Was I got a keyboard from my uncle, so I was like, hey, I want to do some cool MIDI stuff with this. So,
nice.
And then many years ago, I actually got Logic for basically free.
Wow.
Through a student bundle that Apple had, because I was buying it for Final Cut, and it was already cheaper than just buying Final Cut on its own, but it included Final Cut Compressor, which is the compression software, or like the rendering software that Apple has.
Okay.
And then motion graphics, just Apple's graphics thing. All these are Apple, but
Yeah.
which is motion. And then main stage, which is for like live events, like programming lights and sounds and all that sort of stuff. It's really cool.
Cool.
And so so basically I was able to get that entire bundle of software for cheaper than just buying Final Cut on its own.
That's really
So
cool.
I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I do that? And so I did. Long story short, Logic, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say if you're into making music and you're looking for like synths or new instruments, things like that, bundles are great. Getting bundles, sometimes there are those situations where you can get bundles of different instruments and samples and things like that for the same price or a cheaper price than it is to get any one of those individually, which I think there was one time like a sale for $200 or something on about $950 dollars worth of instruments, and I think it was just instruments and other like effects and stuff like that, and I was able to get it for $200.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So, and of course that was after a whole lot of saving and things like that. So, which if we're talking about saving, we can do two different kinds of saving. Financial saving, yes, you need that. If you're working on music projects, save all the time. I will say that, especially if you're working with FL Studio and you get like good and it crashes all the time. Like it takes about sometimes like 5 tracks worth of instruments in order for FL Studio to be like, nope, and the CPU like just implodes. So
yeah. Speaking of sampling, I was looking at, because I just wanted to mess around and make kind of like my first, electronic-y type song.
Yeah.
In Logic. And so I was looking online for royalty-free vocal samples.
Mm-hmm.
And because I searched that like once on YouTube, for multiple months afterwards, anytime I got an ad on YouTube, it was a vocal sample like advertisement. And the amount of times I've heard this one lady going like, oh, why did I never believe in us, or something like that. It's a really good vocal sample, and every time I hear it, I'm like, that's pretty good. It's also the 5th time I've heard it today.
Oh, wow.
That reminds me every time I watch YouTube, because I bought an Artlist subscription for my portfolio class.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a year long. So expensive.
Oh, I get so many of those ads.
It's like, looking to create the perfect video.
Oh, God.
Look out motion array. It's like, oh my gosh, it's every single ad.
So you brought this up earlier, Will, and I think that it's a good thing to go into before we get into our first break, but especially for people who are interested in getting into music making, is sound libraries and sample libraries, things like that. Artlist is one of them, especially if you're getting into like audio for video. Or just video making in general. For audio, I've heard really good things about Splice. It is a subscription. I think it's a paid subscription, but
I've heard of that, yeah.
But you can get a lot of different like samples off of that and such. I haven't used Splice, but I've heard very good things about it. I haven't heard a bad thing about Splice.
I did my internship last semester, if many of you don't know, but I know the church I go to now, Sea Life Community Life Church in Sunnyvale, uses Audio Jungle, and they buy the songs the Audio Jungle has a different pricing system than Artlist, which I get because they you can listen to the song and you can try and clip it or download it, right? But it will have this lady going Audio Jungle over the song.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like the audio equivalent of the Shutterfly.
Yeah.
Overlay, yeah.
Audio Jungle.
Or not Shutterfly, what is it?
And
yeah,
so,
I don't know, whatever.
Shutterfly. Photo.
You have to buy you have to buy the song outright. So it's like $20 for a song. And it's like, that's crazy. Why not just pay $200 for... This is why I prefer Artlist, because with Artlist, it's like $20 for a song, and it's not even $20 for a song. It's $200 for a whole year. So So according to Audio Jungle's prices, I get 10 songs for 10 videos. I made my money back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, those
Also,
are...
I guess one last thing on this
Yeah.
subject. Now, Seth, you would know much more about this than I would, just because you are more probably in the music making community, especially when it comes to like digital music making. But people will give you trash for using samples in your music,
Right.
and I don't think that is inherently bad. And most like professionals, from what I've seen, are over here like, it's not a big deal to use samples in your music, so don't worry about it, sort of thing. Like, it was funny. There's a song that I really like. I believe it's called "Drop the Bounce." I hate to admit it, but it's from Dance Dance Revolution. Okay, and it's very.
Don't hate to admit
it's very,
that.
That's
No,
very
that's
on
true.
brand for you, Garrett.
I love DDR, dude. There was a solid
Garrett,
year. I just know life DDR, but
that's very on brand for you, I gotta say.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But that's actually a compliment. I love DDR. I was able to clear songs on Expert for so long, and
Wow.
then I probably lost a lot of my skill. But anyway,
That's impressive.
I
That's
kind
me and
of
Just Dance.
switched to Beat Saber, and then it kind of carried over, but I haven't played either in a long time now. But anyway, okay. So to finish what I was saying,
Yeah.
there is a song in there that I really liked and had a cool vocal thing in it, right? I'm like, okay, that's fun. I was listening to Spotify EDM playlist
Yeah.
like a few months ago, and I found a song, and at one point the same vocal track comes in from
right.
that other song, and I was like, wait a minute, it's a sample.
Right.
I didn't even realize that. So like, I don't think anyone cares in the long run if you use samples or not in audio stuff. Yeah, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, especially like drum samples. Most of my drums come from drum samples or like drum lab presets, and I've been fine. They've been pretty fine to mix and master. I mean, you don't master the individual elements, of course. You master the entire mix, but yeah, just you do you. Especially when you're starting out, samples are fine. You know, if you're starting out on making music, don't expect to make amazing music when you first start out. Like people who have those SoundCloud accounts or YouTube accounts where they're just like, hey, I'm just now, releasing music and it's like amazing. Probably not like their first stuff. They've probably been making music for years before they started releasing it, and that's why it sounds so good now. So do not be discouraged. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Haha. Something like that. Joshua 1:9 / Deuteronomy 30-something. We're going to get into our first break. And
You
then
know what else has breaks?
what else?
Music.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact,
that means we should go into our first break.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about broadcasting specifically and the relationship between music and broadcast when we use it. When we don't, I guess we could talk about that when we don't use music. But yeah, stay tuned and we will be right back with that. Welcome everyone to segment 2. Today, yeah, why not? Today, yeah. Right now, we're getting into broadcasting, music in broadcasting specifically. The first things I think about when I think of music and broadcasting is intro music. Like intros are especially in news shows or game shows, also talk shows, but also for things like, sports games. You often have music tracks. Broadcasts are hardly right. Exactly.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Broadcasts are hardly complete without it. Hardly complete without music. And you have some iconic sort of music. What do you call them? Not stab. Sort of like you got the SportsCenter top 10. Da-na-na. Which
yeah. Oh, like little hooks, little
hooks. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You also got what else do we have? Family Feud. Something
something like that.
Something
or
like
Price
that.
is Right. Is like
No, you know what I was just singing? I was not singing Family Feud. I was singing a song from Charlie Brown, the musical. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I'm gonna be honest. What is it called?
Nice.
Do you see this tree? This is a fir tree.
Oh,
It's called a fir tree because it gives us fur.
What?
Interesting.
Little known facts.
Okay, thank you.
But I
Seth.
guess what's Family Feud? Because
No, that's Price is Right.
oh yeah, that is right. We're
I
very
don't
knowledgeable
remember.
about this.
We need
as you
Connor
can see.
back on here to help us
Yeah,
with
can
this,
we
yeah.
just? Well, I'll call up Connor and then he can come back on.
Right.
We're being a great disappointment to him at this point.
Right.
We can splice in Connor just correcting us on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now a moment with Connor.
But yeah, contrary to what we have just demonstrated, plenty of iconic music hooks and such. What are some iconic like some things that when you hear the music, you know that is one like TV show or one like element of broadcast television or something like that, like the Sports Center. Dun-dun-dun.
Well, I would always think of the A-Team. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, okay, classic.
For some reason, the first thing that came in my head was Batman the Animated Series in that whole like orchestral opening.
Well, I always,
but that's a little long for just a
know,
quick
the,
like.
CBS on NFL always had this really huge theme. I can't remember it, but I know there was music there, and it always had a huge robot always coming on to the thing, and just like. There's our sponsor for today, and he would run off.
He would have like a football or something, and he'd be like, "Hey, look, it's Frito-Lay. They want you to buy the Fritos for your next Frito pie."
Spider-Man in theaters, December 23rd.
Yeah, it'd be like, I don't know, he'd run on and catch a football, and then the football would have like, Fuzzy's tacos on it. That's probably too small for NFL. I don't know, like Coca-Cola.
I think about all the times as a family we would get together and we would turn on NCIS and we would all just as a family go.
Of course you would watch it.
Do, and then like we'd like build it up, and then at the very end when Mark Harmon like slams his fist on the table every episode of like every season after season 1 or 2.
NCIS.
There might be. I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I've seen
There's been
NCIS.
so much NCIS. I'm sure at some point in their runtime they've had a goth.
I remember watching this
person
old
on their
crime show like that was on CBS that had like this really like black lipstick, black hair, like pale person. I don't know.
What's the problem with this, Will? I don't understand.
I'm just not in I'm in an Old Testament mood, as my dad likes to say.
Oh no.
Oh no, Harry.
Oh no, Harry.
Oh gosh.
Have you seen that video where like there's the dude reading from like a portion from Harry Potter where it went Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Oh, yeah.
Dumbledore asked calmly. And then it cut to the movie where Dumbledore was like,
Harry,
did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah, man just straight up like choke slams this guy into a wall. I was like, why'd you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
So it's starting to sound like a Muppet right there, Seth.
Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah.
Swedish Chef is awesome.
So many.
Guys, I don't think J.K. Rowling really knows how to write for teenage boys, to be honest.
Okay.
There's a whole section in the 6th book where Harry's scaly monster is very angry at him because Ginny is kissing somebody else. I'm dead serious. There's a whole excerpt, and it's so funny because J.K. Rowling does not know how to write for men.
I mean, wouldn't he be upset though?
Oh, yeah, he'd be upset, but she describes it in such stupid detail.
Okay. I mean, I don't think the book series was written exclusively for boys.
No,
though.
but she doesn't know how to
The
write.
lips were red.
Oh, you're saying
both of theirs were. The top and bottom lips were both red.
the number of lips they had were 2, and all 2 of them were red.
It's like the Monty Python holy hand grenade.
Yeah.
You shall
pull. Or wait.
You shall hold the hand. You shall count to 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
No more, not 2.
After pulling the pin,
not
thou shalt
4.
count to 3. 4 shall not be the number that thou shalt count to, neither 2.
Unless then proceeding on to 3. 5 is right out.
Your father was a hamster, and your mother smelt of elderberries.
I spit at you. I fart in your general direction, or something like that.
Your arm's off.
It is but a flesh wound.
'Tis but a scratch. Oh yeah.
No, it
It's
isn't.
just a flesh wound. But your arm's gone.
No, it isn't.
'Tis but a scratch, and just starts kicking me.
Okay, well, honestly, like, I guess there's not a lot to talk about in terms of music and broadcast. Sometimes people use music in broadcast.
Hey, I think it's good time for a
Period.
break.
Yeah, honestly, we haven't been doing a lot, but honestly,
I love that the last 5 minutes have just been Monty Python quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know if Seth's going to keep that in, but for the last probably solid 5 minutes, we've just been literally word for word quoting Monty Python in
Yeah.
various ways.
All right, we'll see you after break.
all right, welcome back. Today I literally say today every time, as if it's a different day every time we start a segment.
We gotta
Whatever.
Spread these out, you know.
Yeah. Actually,
This is the start of the episode after the last one we recorded.
that's the new way we're doing Auto In. We are going back to the weekly schedule, but we're only releasing it a segment at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I actually meant by we're taking a break next semester.
So welcome to Audio and Broadcast Part 3.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Today I did it again. Whatever. We're going to be talking about just like going into our favorite music. I think we've talked about it a little bit, but we haven't gone like full on into detail what our actual like go-to genres are, or how they've developed, maybe, if you want to get into that. But what kinds of music? I think we mentioned that like we each have like music that we have in common with each other, but also music that we don't have in common with each other. We'll explore that a little bit. Who would like to go first?
I'll go ahead and go first just because mine's very easy. I literally listen to everything. Like, I have pretty much a Spotify playlist for just about every genre out there. But like some of my favorites though, I listen to a lot of like alt rock. I listen to a lot of like punk, just alternative in general. Recently I've been listening to a surprising amount of metal just because I went and saw a friend from high school who I hadn't seen in a long time. He's real into metal. He asked me if I listened to metal. I said yes. He said, "Can I see your playlist?" I showed him my playlist, and he commented that my playlist wasn't heavy enough.
Nice.
And then it made me really self-conscious about my metal playlist. And I was like, I need to start listening to this more because I like heavier metal stuff, but I'm like, I just don't have a lot of it on the playlist. So now I'm been trying to like intentionally find heavier metal and then put it on my playlist so that I get some more metal clout. So I can be like, yeah, look, I listen to... I can't even think of a band off the top of my head that would be what I'm trying to say. That's a problem. Anyway.
The best musical preferences come from insecurities.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I do love EDM. I was actually listening to some in my room because I found some remixes of songs on SoundCloud that were actually good, surprisingly.
Nice.
Because like it's on SoundCloud, you know, it's a shot in the dark,
Sure.
right?
Right.
But I found some pretty good ones earlier, and I was kind of grooving to those. Okay, I will say, the one genre I don't listen to very much, I'll just say that because technically I have tried to listen to it before, is noise and noise rock.
Oh, okay.
I do not listen to noise. I find it obnoxious, and I've tried to get an appreciation for it, and I just cannot do it. I'm so sorry. But noise rock, I have a little bit more respect for. Or not, I respect both, I should say. But noise rock, I listened to an entire noise rock album just to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It was one of the best ones I think I could have done because I liked it, but I would never listen to it again, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
It was called You Won't Get What You Want, I believe, or You Can't Get What You Want by a band called Daughters. And lyrically, I loved the album. The songwriting on that thing, absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else about it is intentionally super obnoxious. And it fits with the thematics of the album, which is basically exploring these really dark parts of the human experience and kind of like going into that. And so the entire thing is kind of designed to give you this feeling of just uneasiness all the way through.
Right.
But because of that, it's not very fun to listen to.
Sure.
So once you've listened to it once, most people are like, that was cool. I never need to do that again, sort of thing.
Moving on to me,
Nice.
but really what I've been always interested in, and I've always loved this genre, is called future funk.
Oh, I
Love
adore
Future
Future
Funk.
Funk. Oh my gosh, dude, Saint Pepsi.
Whoa, hey, it's my turn, man.
It's Will's
You ran
self-proclaimed
off.
turn.
I gotta
It's Will's turn.
Dude, I have to shill for Saint Pepsi.
Will's turn.
But do you know Saint Pepsi, Will?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Children, calm down.
Hit Vibes by Saint Pepsi is the best Future Funk album out there.
You
listen
sure?
to it,
Because
please.
Tupperware Remix Party's giving them a run for their money with Over the Top.
Tupper Waves, Baby I Miss You is also very good.
Tupper Waves.
Sorry, To You Baby with Love is amazing.
I guess.
Baby
but
I Miss You is
coming
also
at you, roll with it somewhere out there. Need Each Other, On This Rock, and Black Swan of Over the Top just came out last year. So good. Other than that, I am getting back into some 80s rock.
Nice.
Classic 80s rock. Not Rush, but definitely more, looking at what Apple and Spotify are giving me for 80s rock. Because right now, I have found a newfound love for Journey's Any Way You Want It, That's the Way You Need It. And it's just my favorite song to headbang to, because it's just
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
But
any way
as you can see,
want
my newest song so far, obviously we share prog rock. I listen to prog rock as in Rush, and mostly exclusively Rush.
Nice.
But for classic rock, Jukebox Hero, Any Way You Want It, We Built This City, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard.
It's Def Leppard.
Photograph. I'm really getting into
Look at
Def
this
Leppard.
photograph.
Oh, by
Different
Nickelback?
photograph.
Oh, yeah.
It's like photograph.
Look at this graph.
Look at this graph.
Heat of the moment.
What's the heat of the moment? Yeah, I know.
We're not gonna take it. Twisted
Oh,
Sister.
yeah.
Come on, feel the noise. That stuff.
On,
But also, I'm really, because of my portfolio project, I've been really listening in on some Tarantino music right now. Quentin Tarantino always has such great soundtracks for his movies.
Yeah, like the
So-
scores.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there is
I'd
also
imagine.
the Austin
Stuck
Powers
in the
theme in
middle
there.
with you.
The da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba.
I don't know that, but I
Oh,
think it's
yeah,
delightful
okay.
that you just did what you just did.
California Dreamin', Son of a Preacher Man.
Oh wait, that's Tupac. Never mind.
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood is the best showdown song music I've ever heard. It was from Kill Bill. It's so cool.
Killis Billis.
It's like the most sorry, I'm doing my Tim Allen noises again.
Oh.
That sounded more like Arnold Schwarzenegger noises.
Oh.
Wow.
But yeah, basically it's really good. Very that Quarantine Funky Time Going Crazy Time is another name of my playlist that I'm listening to.
Funky time, crazy time.
No, it's Quarantine Funky Going Crazy Time. I made this during quarantine. It's got Rasputin, Downtown, My Sharona, Let It Be, Jump in Line by Harry Belafonte. If you guys know Harry Belafonte, I love Harry Belafonte.
Interesting.
Yeah. Supersonic Rocket Ship, Barroom Blitz, Come On Get Happy, as in, I think David Cassidy. It's from some song family in the 80s, but yeah, that's basically what I'm listening to.
Interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I would say that I would like to be the kind of person who could say that I listen to everything. Realistically, I'm a person who respects 99% of music, but I don't necessarily listen to everything.
Okay. Do you respect noise?
I have not listened to any noise, I don't think. So I couldn't tell you one way or the other.
After the show, I'm going to play you a song called Woodpecker No. 1 by a man named Merzbow,
Okay.
and I will get your opinion after.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like you definitely will. But yeah, I grew up listening to, of course, classic, Christian youth group music. So we're talking like Lecrae, also what
DC
else?
Talk.
We got a bit of DC Talk, especially Toby Mac, because that's what I grew up with, because he 2001 was his first album, so he was getting, this was before he got full on pop and future bass, and he was more just gospel kind of music deal, and calling God Daddy kind of gospel music and things like that.
Daddy
and
God.
yeah, so I definitely replaced those lyrics at this point. But But I have just as much, I think, if not more, of an appreciation for Toby Mac nowadays. We even listened to a little bit of Skillet when we were kids. I know, and we didn't turn out to be goths. And that's a bit of a rarity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I'd gone through, like, it's not really that I went through phases. It's just that I went through short stints of like listening to all kinds of different things. So recently, about like 2015, 2014, I started getting a lot more into EDM. Electronic dance music is what that acronym stands for. Specifically, I got into EDM through the record label Monster Cat, which is what my older brother showed me. And so I got all kinds of different varieties of EDM. From the more generic kinds, which I appreciate a lot more than a lot of the people in the Monster Cat community, but the more generic kinds, and ranging from those to like the more unique kinds that are a lot more experimental or a lot more kind of emotional, stuff like that. But I really got into more indie styles, especially Chris Rice, indie Christian sort of music, and even a bit of pop. Like recently, I was introduced to the album, like the very first album of Owl City, Ocean Eyes.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who listens to Owl City a lot, and that's an album he really likes.
I really love Owl City. The only albums that I've listened to all the way are his most recent one, Cinematic, and his one from 2015 called Mobile Orchestra. Okay. And his album Ocean Eyes. The deluxe edition specifically, because there are a lot more songs on that one. Yeah. But it's very signature Owl City, right? But he's the kind of artist that takes one style, or that took one style in Ocean Eyes and explored it in every possible way that he could. So he's the kind of artist that people would listen to a lot of his music and think, wow, all of it sounds the same. Yeah. Which is, could be kind of true to an extent. Any artist that takes one particular style that is unique to them and explores every possible aspect of it is bound to get people who say that all of their music sounds the same, which they're onto something. Like they have one particular style that sometimes they rehash in new ways, but I find that people are a lot more than people give it credit for, not just for Owl City, but a lot of different artists, that people are just taking their original style and kind of spinning it in a new way, even if it's not very much of a fresh way, and they kind of miss in that department.
I get you. Now, on the complete other side of the spectrum is my favorite band, Aol Nation, where every single one of their 4 albums they've put out sounds nothing like each other, and it's hilarious.
Wow, I love that.
Like, first album is very, like, electro-pop sort of, like, dancey electro-pop sort of thing. Like, if you know the song Sail, it's off of that album. It was like, Sail!
Yeah, right.
It's off that album, which majority of that album sounds nothing like Sail, which is funny.
Oh,
but,
wow.
That it's that sort of kind of electronic-y, synthy sort of like fun, dancey pop music. Second album, hard, like alternative rock sort of vibe. Has this very kind of like dark undertone to it and all that stuff, right? And then third album, very much like grunge, very like grungy, almost at some point a garage rock sound. And then fourth one, I haven't listened to actually, which is funny. I own it. I need to listen to it. But the fourth one, from what I've heard, is like kind of back to this alternative sort of sound, but almost like a combination of the more punky garage rock sound of the third one and the alt rock sound of the second one, but almost more of a pop sound to it. It's just like, it's hard to pin down at any point what their specific sound is. So it's funny that, you have like Owl City, which very samey through most of their genre, and they just kind of move around in that one sound. And then you have like Aol Nation, who just straight up, you never know what the next album's going to sound like, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. There's beauty to both approaches. And I have a whole lot of respect for artists who, in a lot of cases, more respect for artists who take completely different directions every single project they do, versus people that what you're gonna get. I don't know if you guys listen to any country, but I don't.
I appreciate country. I know a lot of people who love it, and I've heard a lot growing up, just because Texas, right? But I don't listen to it consistently now.
I have
a country playlist on Spotify. I just don't listen to it very often.
Right. I like country all right. I mean, it's not something I would submerge myself in. In terms of rap and hip hop, the only rapper I really listen to is NF, and I would highly recommend his new mixtape Clouds. Really good stuff. Actually, I haven't listened. I've only listened to actually 3 or 4 songs on it. So actually, I'm gonna have to go and listen to the entire mixtape. But most recently, I've been getting into these artists named Hadassah Grace. Hadassah Grace is a third culture kid who makes like indie guitar and piano, ukulele kind of music.
Interesting.
Which is beautiful lyrically. And Euphoria is one artist that does lo-fi hip hop, jazz, and sometimes like really ambient music and some piano music too. So those are a lot of the stuff, wide variety of stuff that I'm into. All right, well, conclusion, music is cool.
Music is good. I like it. Give me more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's maybe like encourage other artists to like make more by
Grimes.
Listening.
Look,
except for some.
Just because you're jealous that Elon Musk gets to hang out with Grimes, Will. Okay, look.
I don't give anything for Grimes. I don't like her music.
Well, some people hate things, some people love things, and what I love is last words. One of the things I love most. So we got any?
Is that a threat?
No, that's just me being super on the nose about my psychopathic tendencies.
Oh, okay.
So the only thing is I can't murder Will. Will's already dead.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
You're right,
I can murder you, Garrett.
Well, but I'm projecting.
So
If you can
after
find
you
his
show me
body-
that song, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
can find his body, that's the big question.
Yeah, because I am astrally
There.
projecting currently. So.
Oh, you
will-
actually are.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
wonder.
yeah,
You were talking about how you don't believe in that.
I'm gonna stick my hand through this glass right here. Okay.
Yep. I knew it.
Yeah. Sorry. I just
you're
played
gonna
off
have
really
to disinfect that later. You definitely just lied to me about astral projection. Okay, well, this has been Auto In, hosted by Seth Kelly, Will Moulton, and Garrett Walder, with music produced and performed by Jesse Liked and logo designed by John Brezenio. Thank you for listening, and see you next week. Next 2 weeks, my bad. Haha, Auto out.